there? Yeah, there's definitely an issue there. We're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know exactly what that is. I started with only $1,000 and I'm turning it to $100,000 by flipping cars. In the last video, we got up to $21,000. And now I bought 2 cars to keep us going. The first one was a 2010 Chrysler 300 and the second one was a 2014 Subaru Legacy. I paid $7,400 for both of them together. I bought them from an online auction called ACV Auction, so I don't know if there's something wrong with the cars that wasn't listed, but let's just see how the first one looks. All right, so this is how the car is looking. This is the first car. Yes, it's looking a little dirty, okay. I'm pretty sure most of this can come off. It almost looks like they were like trail riding or something like that with this car, riding off-road or something, but who knows. I mean, I will say I do feel like with a good detail, this thing could be looking really good. Can you see it? Can you see it really? Like, can you see the potential this thing has after it's not looking so dingy? I feel like I can. And this is the interior too. I mean, it's the same thing really. Like, yes, it is a little dusty and whatnot, obviously needs a detail, but overall it's not too shabby. Like, especially of course the leather seats, that's nice, you know, but there's not any rips in the seats. Honestly, you could tell whoever had this car probably took pretty good care of it. And actually I saw that this was a one owner car, so that basically makes sense. Let's take this thing out for a test drive and see how it's actually driving. And by the way, don't mind, I know I'm looking a little scruffy right now. I'm gonna get my hair cut soon, okay? I got you, don't worry. Okay, this thing is looking good. Sheesh. I mean, I'm gonna check everything out, but I mean, the brakes are all good. The suspension feels good. Let me try to slam on the brakes really quick. Yup, shifting good too. It doesn't look like there's one light on the dash. It's the TPMS light, but that's really not a huge light. There's no other lights though. Honestly, this one's looking like a real score. But I'm not gonna act like this thing just needs no work. Like, I'd say the main thing I wanna do to get the profit we want out of the car, which has to be at least $2,000 profit, would be doing like a real detail for the exterior. And I'm talking about like buffing it, you know, with a compound and everything like that. So we're gonna get into that whole process now. I gotta say, for the people that subscribe to the channel and watch my videos before, I'm hoping we can knock this out before it ends up raining, because y'all know, like, for whatever reason, whenever I start doing some work with the cars, that's when it just happens to rain. So that better not happen today. And I have to mention, my main goal is to make it to 40K built up in this series by September of this year, just so that I could stay on track to be able to hit 100K by next year. So because of that, I was really hoping I could knock out as much as I could do to post this car up for sale, because the longer it takes to actually post up the car for sale, the longer it'll take to actually sell the car, and then of course it'll delay getting to that smaller goal in time as well. Woo! Look how much better it's already looking. So much better. Both sides too. I can only imagine how it's about to look once I do the full detail. This thing about to be glossing. All right, so now I'm going to go on to doing the clay bar. You got to do this too. If I just jump right onto doing the buffing, I'm going to be having a bunch of debris that you really can't see right now, all slipped all over the paint. We don't want that. That thing has to be looking glossy, looking shiny. So let's get this in first. Look at that. Just washed the car and now I'm using this. Look how much dirt is still there. Crazy. Alright, so what I want you to do now is just take your finger and just slide it across here. I want you to feel what that feels like. You feel that? Oh wait, my bad. You can't feel nothing. It's just a video. But really, it feels so much better than any of the other panels before. Like, this really feels like glass. That's what we want. We're gonna keep it going. So now that we're done doing the clay bar for the whole car looking all good, but I mean, that's not really even the main part of the whole process. The main part of it is this part really. This is the Sonax perfect finish, and then we got a good old Bauer Harbor Freight's DA polisher. Simple. Let's get to it. And the other thing is, the Subaru Legacy wasn't even delivered yet, and I really didn't know what type of work that would need when it came. So I was really hoping I could get all this stuff out the way before that. Okay, so just finished up with the hood. With this type of day, it's a cloudy day, not really gonna see much of a difference. So I'm probably gonna wait so you guys can actually see, didn't just do this for nothing. Okay, so we back out here another day, and something came up. So look at what's on the car now. A bunch of pollen. Gotta love it. Pollen season is dope. So I'm basically gonna have to just wash the car again. Okay, so now that we back on track, everything looking all clean again, that thing shining, and now we got to get to the other parts of the car. And I don't know if you guys can actually see that. This is the area I was doing before, and here it is with the other spots here. I don't know if you guys can see these little areas right here. Let's find stuff into the paint. Hopefully the camera picks it up, but this is the type of stuff I'm trying to really get out, which will make the color really pop. Again, the annoying thing is this isn't another nice day. This is basically another cloudy day. The sun's barely out, but you know, it is what it is. Oh, this is perfect, y'all. So the sun is finally starting to come out, so we're gonna see what it actually looks like now. So this is how it's looking with the sun shining right on it. You could see all those scratches right there. Hopefully you can see that on camera. It looks like I can see it from my side too, but that's how it's looking before. And yeah, we're gonna come back to that area right after. Okay, so this is what it's looking like right now. I'm gonna have to come back to that spot from before in a little bit. Actually, I'll just show it as a clip over this so you can see the before and after of what that spot was looking like in the sun from the trunk area. But okay, we can't get too held up on the exterior of this car, as lovely as that all was, and I'm glad it's looking so much better now. Now we gotta get into the interior cleaning, because we still gotta get to that car by the end of today. I really wanna wrap up everything, getting the car ready for sale today so we could post it up for sale, you know, $4,000 to $5,000 profit within a couple of days. We'll see, but that's the goal. And although this isn't horrible, it's nice that it's leather interior and everything, which makes things a little simpler. Still look at it like this thing is filthy. And as a quick thing, the car was actually delivered moments before I recorded this part of the clip. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous when it was first recorded because the thing was already looking a little bit more beat up than I initially thought. So I was hoping when it came time to me checking out the car in a little bit, it wouldn't be a whole situation where the car is much worse than I thought it would be. Okay, so now that this beautiful thing is all ready for sale, now we got to get over to the Subaru. This is the next car right here. It's a 2014 Subaru Legacy. I believe, if I remember, it has like 150,000 miles on it. Of course, it's also littered with pollen. It's also under the trees, so this thing is looking filthy. Has some dirty looking rims on there, and let's see what the inside looks like. Okay, basically follows the same thing here. Look at all that grime. Smells like butt cheeks in here. Feels good. Feels like a good place to be. And let's start it up for the first time. Let's see, any lights stay on? No lights are supposed to stay on. And looks good. Let's take this one on the test drive too though. All right, so let's go for a little drive. Ooh. Okay. Did y'all hear that right there? The brakes feel good. Let me try to accelerate again and get that sound coming back. Oh yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound too good. I don't know exactly what that is. From just what I can think of, honestly, it could be two different things. It's possible it could either be the wheel bearing. The wheel bearing would be the best case scenario thing to happen. From what it seems like, the whirring, I don't know if you guys care, but it's like a whirring noise is going on. Well, the faster I get, the louder the whirring noise gets. The second thing, and the worst case scenario basically, would be a transmission issue. And this is a CVT transmission car, so it's possible. I know with CVTs, they could potentially have that type of noise as well if they're about to go out. So hopefully that's not the case though. That would really slow down things if I end up having to like give this car back or something. But I'm gonna jack it up in the air and do a couple of tests just to see if we can narrow it down to whatever the issue is. Okay, so good news, y'all. So when I just do a little wheel bearing test, usually the main test outside of like listening to it when you're actually going for the test drive would be shaking the wheel. So going side to side like this. and going from the top to bottom. In both areas, I could hear a good amount of play. So thank God it's actually the wheel bearing instead of the transmission possibly being the problem. But now let's get to changing it. And I have to be honest, yes, I was pretty relieved that there was actually a wheel bearing issue from the diagnosis, but at the same time, until I actually put everything back together, I really wouldn't know if it was the transmission that was the problem or not. So I was still kind of anxious. All right, I'm not even gonna lie, removing that hub bearing was such a pain. I didn't even get it on camera how I did it, but I was trying so many different methods between just whacking on the thing with the sledgehammer and trying to use like a bolt in the back of the bearing to try to pry it apart. Eventually what ended up working was I used a hammer and used like a wedge and basically just kind of wedged in between where the bearing attached to the knuckle. But it was tough. But let me get on to actually putting on the new bearing now. All right, so everything's back together. This is the moment of truth. We're gonna go for a little test drive, see if that sound is hopefully gone. Ooh, we looking good, y'all. We looking good. Oh my goodness. Thank God, yo. With how much of a struggle that just taking off that wheel bearing was, that better have been it. I would have been tight if I put this all back together and that wasn't the sound that was causing everything. I mean, I knew regardless that the wheel bearing needed to be changed after I did the little, you know, diagnosis, shaking the wheel and everything, but thank God. So we good. It's not the transmission for sure, and time to get on to cleaning. Ooh, look how much different it looks after a nice detail on the outside. I'm glad I don't have to do the full buffing detail too. That would have taken a lot of time, but time to get to the interior. Okay, so both cars are finally ready for sale. I'm at a public parking lot around me just to take pictures of the car. For the Subaru Legacy, it's looking like, just looking through Kelley Blue Book and different things like that, I'd say I should probably be able to sell it around $5,500. So I'm gonna post it up for $6,000. Obviously people are gonna try to negotiate. For the Chrysler 300, I'm gonna be trying to sell it for between $5,000 to $5,500. So I'll try to post it up at $5,500 and see what happens. And if you are looking to flip cars yourself, by the way, I did actually put together a free checklist giving out my formula of how you can get a high profit car where you don't need to fix anything and you don't have to worry at all about losing money from potentially buying a lemon. If you want access to that, just go to the link in the description below. Let's go. So we just wrapped up the sale for both cars. The first one that I ended up selling was the Chrysler 300. We bought it for $3,130. We put $120 in expenses between the Harbor Freight's buffer that we got plus the products that we needed to actually do the detailing. And then we sold it for $5,400, so we didn't try to negotiate too much, which gave us a profit of $2,150. The second one we sold literally just now. It was the 2014 Subaru. We bought that one for $3,509. We didn't have to put much into it. It was literally just the wheel bearing, and then we already had the products from the detailing from the other parts of the series, so just $50 of expenses into it. And we sold it for $5,500, which gave us a profit of $1,940. So with both of them added together, that's $4,090 added to the series, which brings us to a total of $25,000 in this series stacked up so far. But the hustle continues. On to the next cars. Subscribe for the next part of this series, and I'll catch you in the next time. Peace.